Good afternoon. Thank you for assisting. My name is Javier Rosario. I'm the Director of Ultrasound at the UCF EM Orlando program. And today, I'm going to be here with my friend.
Hello, I'm David Lebowitz. I'm the Director of Education at the SAEM program. And today, we're happy to talk to you about our assembly line education model that we implemented at our residency program.
We have no disclosures. We're actually quite poor. You're going to see some brands at some point. These are by no means, we don't get any money from them. It's just examples of tools that we use when we implement our assembly line model.
So education has gone through a transformation where we are finding that passive lectures are leading to boredom, sometimes leading to sleeping, and there's a need for novel educational techniques that employ more active learning. As the millennial residents of today have short attention spans, they are craving small group active learning that are interactive and collaborative with instant gratification.
In the beginnings, what we tried is we tried to implement simulation into our curriculum. And we started sort of like this. This is actually an example of our early days in simulation. And it was very impersonal, as you can see, lots of people in one room, not very dedicated to any single resident. And there were some residents that would kind of stay behind the scenes and not really participate a lot. So having a good relationship with our College of Medicine, we got into talks with them and we were able to improve our system. So we rebuilt the area, the structure, and we separated that big space that you saw before into 4 different simulation bays. And now we can go into each of one of these bays with less residents and then implement more one-to-one or two-to-one education. And we can, this way, really gauge at their deficiencies or what they're really good at. And we can get more information from them because they're going to be more willing to express how they feel. An example of what we do is this, and this is actually one of the diagrams that we give them the day of the assembly line model. And we assign them groups by letters, and we divide them into each one of these stations. So from A to F, 2 residents in this case go to each one of these stations, and they rotate through them. So when we do that, we have them do this in a very fast-paced rate, and we do it in 45-minute sessions each. And they also rotate through different cases. So the sim station 1 has a different case than each other sim station. And on the right side, you're going to see that there's some other stations there, and those are small group stations. We do this every month. On this next slide that you're going to see, we're going to show you what we do, like what you can implement. So you could do radiology instead of procedures. You could do clinical decision tools instead of ultrasound. And you could also interchange the bottom part down that says wellness as well. However, wellness is very popular in our group, so that one usually stays there.
So again, we do this once a month in our curriculum for a total of 5 hours, and we have our residents rotate through these stations with the hope that we are providing them with building blocks of knowledge, incorporating the variety of elements that go into making an emergency physician step by step, so that at the end we have a final product of a well-rounded, balanced, and prepared emergency physician.
Yeah, so we try to implement as much as we can into each one of these stations the topics that we think or we feel that are going to be core content for them. For example, here we have our peds emergency medicine faculty running a pediatric simulation case for them, and he rotates as well through the group performing those. We also try to implement our clinical rotators or our medical student rotators and get them engaged in the cases. So while the residents are probably running the case, the logistics of the case, our clinical rotators sometimes also get to participate, like in this example, intubation. And we also have other tools. So this is a simulation mannequin that has OBGYN capabilities. So here, one of our residents is running an OBGYN emergency. And one of our popular electives right now is our MedEd Sim elective. And in this elective, the residents really get to get their hands wet with simulation and education. During this rotation, they will do some shifts in the emergency department doing medical education and teaching, but they also have a day where they can participate in the assembly line education model. They will create their own cases, they will debrief their co-residents, and then they will get feedback on that information that they give, and they'll be graded at the end with a pass or fail.
So now we're going to go over some kind of tips and tricks to make this easier to implement. Who here uses Slack for their residency? Yeah, it's becoming really popular, and it's really changed our whole residency dynamics. For those that don't know, Slack is a messaging platform that you could have on any device. And we tried to incorporate that in SIM because our SIM really needed a realistic avenue to receive images live. So what we do is faculty, just like you see here, Slack over images like an X-ray or EKG. They'll type in labs to the resident in a live fashion. So we try to really mask an EHR, and this is a free, low-cost solution to that, as long as your residents have some type of smartphone or iPad. Luckily, all of our residents have iPads, so we could easily do this. But even if you just had a phone or a laptop, it's very easy. Oftentimes, it's really challenging to create your own simulation case. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and we often do create our own cases together. But if you don't have a lot of time or you're just stuck, you can go to this website, emsimcases.com, which is organized by organ system. And so I think I clicked here on pulmonary. This is like a pulmonary embolism case with ultrasound and chest X-ray, EKG. So you have all the imaging there and media, but you also have a comprehensive case write-up, which has everything that you need, from background information with goals and objectives, as well as things like history, physical, exam. And they have a really nice script with checklists and modifiers and triggers. And they also give you some techniques for your debriefing, which sometimes could be challenging to come up with on your own. So this is a great way, if you're stuck, to at least get an idea, or you can just use the whole case. This is Creative Commons, so you're allowed to attribute it and you're allowed to use it. In addition, another similar website called thesimtech.com also has cases. It's decent. We find that the cases are not as robust as emsimcases.com. But what I really think this website is great for is the images like EKGs and chest X-ray and just X-rays in general. It has a ton of content so that you can easily find that. And again, I just copy the image and paste it into Slack. It's that easy, so the residents can get that information during their simulation. So we discussed the SIM component, but again, we have different workshops that are occurring simultaneously during this assembly line model. And radiology is one of our favorite ones, and that's essentially we have a faculty member going through a case-based approach to some of the radiology images that correspond with our organ system. Because I really feel that it's difficult and challenging to teach radiology on a large-scale lecture format. So it's really nice to do that small group where the faculty member could work one-on-one with the learner and go over some of their strengths and weaknesses. Similarly, this is our ultrasound workshop. Our ultrasound faculty member will give like a small, brief refresher lecture, and then they'll do hands-on learning. So this is great to refresh the resident. Oftentimes, for example, residents have difficulties finding common bile ducts, so you could fine-tune that here in a safe environment. And you could also use this as an assessment if you would like. But one of our most favorite sessions for assembly line is our wellness sessions, what we call treadmill sessions. And not only are we achieving wellness by having the residents stay fit, and walk on a treadmill, but also it's a nice, safe, comfortable environment to discuss all of the wellness issues that face us as physicians, like sleep, hygiene and fatigue mitigation, balancing family and work life, suicide prevention and awareness, nutrition, resilience, lots of topics that you can incorporate. We're lucky we have these cool treadmills at UCF that have the desks on there, so it's really cool. And actually our faculty member that runs this is here today, and she literally is on the treadmill for 5 hours straight, so it's pretty amazing. Luckily, we're in Florida, so the weather's awesome, and our med school has these workout stations, so you could also do your wellness outside. Even if you don't have this, you could do it on the outdoors, walk around and talk. It's real simple.
Then another one of our stations is our procedure station. And here what we like to do is those procedures that they don't get their hands on too much in the emergency department, they will get to do those here. Or if we need to assess competency on these procedures, we could also do that there. Even if it's a procedure that they do once in a while, we can assess their performance on it from a faculty level. Because sometimes they're not working with core faculty, they might be working with clinical faculty, and we don't get that direct feedback. In this example, they're doing a lumbar puncture, and in that case, we can, again, assess competency, approach to the procedure, PPE or personal protective equipment, or approach to the procedure, indications, and all those other minute details that are important into their procedure per se. And in this one, we're also approaching a procedure that is not done regularly for like an umbilical cord access on a neonate. So one of our faculty members here is discussing how to approach the procedure, the indications, and we actually have that doll that you can do access, and you can cannulate that baby, and you would see a response from the baby from that.
So we've surveyed our residents to determine what they think about our assembly line model, and they really enjoy it. They like the one-on-one interaction, and they really appreciate the personalized feedback that they get. In addition, they really value the wellness station, as they feel, again, that they have this really safe environment where they could share their personal experiences. However, there are some challenges. This isn't that easy. We need a ton of faculty really to be devoted to this. We're a small residency of 7 residents a year, and we need 6 faculty for this, so that could be rough, but fortunately we plan for this a year in advance. We do this every single month, the last day of the month, so that all the faculty know about it, and they're dedicated and they value it. In addition, one of the biggest challenges for us is timekeeping. As you know, some faculty like to talk more and they're more verbose. Also, some concepts are more complex and they take a lot more time to sift through and explain. So we've had challenges just keeping up with time, and we're still trying to work on that. In addition, we alluded to incorporating the off-service resident or the medical student. That could be challenging because, for example, like in a sim, we don't want to make them maybe the team leader because they may feel kind of threatened. So we're still trying to work with that and making them part of the team.
And for the future, what we plan on also adding to our assembly line model is standardized patients, multidisciplinary sim, where we can bring in other specialties, co-residents, other residents, that will have some role in these emergency cases, and we would like to see how that dynamic develops. Also, we want to bring in some social situation simulations, for example, AMA in alcoholics, or any type of AMA, parental abuse, physical abuse, those little things that we don't touch too much on, didactic, or we just learn from them in the real world without really having an adequate preparation for it. And also, we're implementing more and more ultrasound-based simulation into our assembly line model. And one of the ways you could do that is if you have access to these technologies. SonoSim is a good example of tools that you can use where you can just put a probe in a certain place in the mannequin, and if you have it preset already, it will give you an image based on your case. Another example is an app called Awesome Simulator app, Ultrasound Simulator app, and you can get this on the App Store at this moment. Again, we don't have any affiliations to them, but you could get these images through the iPad of the resident or your own iPad, and you can control what they see and when they see it. So you can do it at the specific time that you want, when they put the probe in the adequate position, You could make it a positive or a negative ultrasound. It really depends on what you want to do. And again, in summary, what we wanted to do here is show you our approach to modern education. And we're not saying that you need to eliminate didactic. We haven't done that. But we are saying that this is the most fun day that we have at UCF EM. The faculty love it. They always want to be there. And the residents love it the most. It is hard work, but we really encourage you to consider it into your model as well. You could create your own. And yeah, any questions? Thank you so much for being here.